officers who are subjected to needle sticks are at an increased risk of acquiring HIV, but more commonly hepatitis C.
If you look at those people who had hepatitis B and had used a needle and then somebody else got stuck with it, the risk of transmission between 1 and 31%. For hepatitis C, it's significantly less, generally less than 2%. And for HIV, it's generally less than 1%.
The numbers are not huge, but the consequences potentially are.
Hey, boss man. You all right? You don't look good. You sound sick, man.
In Central, we have a saying, take your time.
Okay.
We have nothing but time. It's not worth rushing, because you want to get home on time or whatever. Take your time. That's the motto.
Broken glass, a broken crack pipe, razors, weapons, knives. We want to make sure our law enforcement officials aren't sticking their hands in places where it's going to put their own health at risk.
Before you start searching them, stop for a second and ask them if they have anything sharp or anything pokey or any needles that are in their pockets, because many times, in fact most times, they'll tell you.
Also, searches not just of people, but of locations, reaching under a car seat, for example, or under a cushion. Don't go sticking your hand somewhere that you haven't seen without illumination, for example.
Spider crawls when you're searching somebody and you do this. Well, working Central Division, you do this, you'll get stuck. So kind of like just really slowly running your hand. Patting is a good thing. Just kind of like before I go in somebody's pocket, I pat. If I feel like something like a long, boom, that sets off alarm bells in my mind. Obviously, I open up the pocket and I look inside before I stick my hand in. If I work night, I'm going to pull out my flashlight.
The protocol for dealing with dirty syringes in the field is to dispose of them in the sharps container or other biohazard device. We tell officers never to re-cork or recap a needle. That's a common way of getting stuck.
Oh, man, I was off a couple days.
He felt what he thought was a pin and then stuck his hand in the pocket to go grab it, and that's when he got poked because the needle was bent this way and it caught him, but he turned white. Immediately got on the phone and he looked like he wanted to cry.
You don't want to be, at the moment of crisis, be figuring out what you should do. Know and follow your own department's protocol. The department does recommend that field employees are vaccinated for tetanus as well as for hepatitis B. We recommend that you cleanse the affected area right away. Notify a supervisor while you clean up and change clothes and all that. Have your partner make the notifications. Get medical help within the first 2 hours.
Get an HIV test. They can have access to what's called post-exposure prophylaxis that have been shown effective at stopping new infections. We don't want to get to the point where an officer is already that much at risk before they take some action. We can be a little more proactive in making sure that there are fewer and fewer dirty needles around. How do you do that? The most successful strategy we've had for reducing the number of dirty needles on the streets has clearly been needle exchange.
Needle exchange really helps reduce law enforcement's risk of being stuck by a dirty needle because there are fewer dirty needles laying around.
A police officer is less likely to be stuck with a contaminated needle if in fact these things are being used once and then disposed of properly.
Their whole purpose is to reduce the risk of HIV, and that's a noble cause in my opinion. But at the same time, you kind of enable the activity. What's the difference if you stop them from getting HIV with a clean needle on this particular day, then that same day they take that clean needle, inject themselves with heroin, overdose in a porta potty? What have you done?